Guys, it's Jimmie Maverick. Hey, man, we are going to do another best ball draft here. We're going to do a best ball tournament draft with $1 million grand prize. It'd be nice to win that, that's for sure. But we're going to utilize the strategy, the best ball strategy we've been working on all summer. I've talked about it a million times. 5 wide receivers in the first 7 picks. We are going to draft ourselves an elite quarterback. And we are going to build out from there. We're going to get stacks too. I'm going to try to stack my 3 top wide receivers with their quarterbacks. I was able to do it in this game, so that was great. And we're going to do the whole draft for you as well. You know, we're so close to the end of drafting season here. The season starts on Thursday. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I've only got a few more of these left. So I'm just relishing in it and trying to build some high upside teams. So, hey, thanks for watching, and let's do this. Hey there, friends. It's Jimmie Maverick. We're going to do a best ball draft here. Looks like I'm picking from the 10th position here. That's interesting. We will see how this goes, and we are going to use my app 16 Rounds Plus to help us pick players today. This is a high-stakes tournament draft. Not as high stakes as the FFPC, but this is a $25 entry, $1 million grand prize. So we're going to go for, and we're going to try to utilize the best ball strategy we've been doing during the off season here. So to get this set up on the app, what we got to do is just answer 3 questions. How does your league score points? We want the best ball mode because that gives special ratings for best ball players. Do you want to engage the counselor's recommended player filters? We're going to say no. I want to see all the players. And then we put in the size of our league and our draft position. Let's go ahead and enter draft mode, and let's see what it shows, because this is a little late on the board, and I want to be sure that we can get good players. So it's recommending Garrett Wilson. It's recommending Chris Olave, Jahmyr Gibbs. Those are all good choices here. And you know what? I'm going to put the draft board up here so you guys can all look at that. I'm going to move my board off to the side. But as I'm talking about players, I'm going to be putting them in my queue. That I love to use the queue. It helps you with all, knowing, so you don't miss any players. And so first I want to put in my long shots. Okay. So we've got long shots like Bijan Robinson and Breece Hall. We also got players like AJ Brown. We've got potentially, I'm thinking Jamar Chase could fall. We'll see what's going on with that. That's certainly a very much a long shot. Whoops. We got Garrett Wilson, who is the top choice. Chris Olave, who I would not take here. I wouldn't take him in the first round, but I think he's a great choice for the second round. Let's see. We got Jahmyr Gibbs. Go back to Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, it looks like Breece Hall did come off the board there. Jamar Chase did come off the board. Let's see here. Players like Drake London. I do like Drake London. There's Saquon Barkley and Drake London again a reach. Saquon Barkley a reach. These are guys that will potentially make it to our second pick, although they will be long shots on the second round. Marvin Harrison Jr., who I really have not been taking. It's so early to take a rookie. I just can't imagine taking a player like Marvin Harrison in the first or second round. It's really, really high risk. It's a high risk play. He's basically priced to perfection. There's no upside with someone like that. And guys like Saquon and Jonathan Taylor, I'm really not interested in. Really, I got to focus on the wide receivers. We want 5 wide receivers in the first 7 rounds. A.J. Brown was taken. That's too bad. So I will go with Garrett Wilson. And we will go with that. And now let's go to round 2 and see what it's recommending for round 2. So for round 2, it is recommending Chris Olave. It's recommending Isaiah Pacheco, Mike Evans. Those are all good choices. Let's see here. Mike Evans. Let's see here. We've also got Drake London's a long shot. Jahmyr Gibbs is a long shot. If Gibbs made it to us, I would take Gibbs in round 2. I know that kind of goes against my strategy of going wide receiver heavy, but we'll see what happens here. I don't expect him to come back to us. There's also Josh Allen as a reach. Malik Neighbors, who again, another rookie. I just can't see taking either of those guys, either the rookies in the first 2 rounds. Earliest I would want to take one of these guys is probably round 3, just because I'd want them as a flex. That's what I want. Okay, so Jahmyr Gibbs did go. Chris Olave, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, Mike Evans, Malik Neighbors are still on the board. I think I might grab London here if he doesn't get taken. We'll see. We'll see what this guy ends up with. But to start out with London and Wilson, that's a good start. Marvin Harrison went. Okay, I'll take Drake London here. He's a decent choice here. Drake London scores 81 cutty points. I like that. And by the way, what you're seeing here, the list of players, this is when I look at the round 2, I'm looking at all the players between round 2 and round 3, but instead of being sorted by their ADP, they are sorted by their cutty score. So the highest scoring players are at the top of the list. Cutty score is a dynamic score. It changes in each round because it's basing the Cutty score is partially based off of where the player is getting drafted. So the longer they're available on the draft board, the more valuable they come if they fall to later rounds. And you can actually use this. You can, at the bottom, you'll see all the removed players, all the players that should already be gone by the time we get to our third pick. But if one happens to make it, you want to see how they rate, you can restore them by clicking the undo button. That puts them back on the list, and it sorts them where they're supposed to be according to their Cutty score. So if they sort back to the top or near the top of the list, those are good players to take, man. So round 3, it is recommending Josh Allen. He's a long shot, actually, for the 3rd round. But for running backs, we've got players like Travis Etienne. We've got Zay. I'm sorry, that's a running back. Excuse me, running back. You know what? I'm just going to look at the running backs first. 3rd round. Oh, that's really the only running back it's recommending. That's interesting. I would also be interested in Josh Jacobs if he makes it to us with our 3rd round pick. For wide receivers, we're talking players like Zay Flowers. Let's see here. Where are you, Zay Flowers? Rashee Rice. I like that. Well, if I get Rashee Rice and then get Mahomes, that would make me feel really good. That would be that's a really nice pair to have. We got players like Devonta Smith, who's a long shot, and again, I don't usually focus on 2s, but I'm going to put him on the list anyway because again, he could also be paired with Hurts. You know, that's certainly another option for a quarterback. DK Metcalf. Let's see here, Stephon Diggs. And also, one other thing we're doing is we're the wide receivers I'm taking are going to determine what quarterbacks I'm going for. So by taking Garrett Wilson and Drake London, I'm going for Aaron Rodgers and I'm going for Kirk Cousins. Those are 2 late round quarterbacks, which is great. But I would like to get an elite quarterback, one of the elite rushing quarterbacks. You know, that would be very, very important for me and for my build. It just makes me feel better about the overall situation. And again, I can take 2 non-quarterback players in the first 7 rounds. So this is kind of a round where I would normally go, maybe I go running back and then I go quarterback. I go running back and then I go quarterback. But this one, if Rashee Rice makes it, I think what I'll do is I'll go for Rashee Rice. What happened to my... Oh, I think my battery just died on my thing. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to be utilizing my little touchpad here. But if Rashee Rice makes it to us, and then I could grab Mahomes on the turn. No, of course not. Oh, wait. Is he still? He is still there. 2 picks to me. So Isaiah Pacheco goes. DJ Moore goes. Now Josh Jacobs is very, very tempting here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Rashee Rice. And then I'm going to go for Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes would not make it to my 5th round pick. If I want him, I've got to take him. And so to get that stack, and then later to get Garrett Wilson and Drake London, that'd be fantastic. There we go. Now it's working again. I don't know what happened there with my mouse. That would have been a pain in the butt. Let's look at round 4. Round 4, again, it's recommending Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Zay Flowers. Again, all that is very, very tempting, especially Jacobs. I'm wondering how likely it is he'll make it to us. It seems pretty likely. Man, that whole backfield is just cleared out for him. That's the thing, man. I'm just like... I'm actually enthusiastic for that. And then it says for Mahomes, he typically goes at 43. And yeah, I mean, this would be the time to take Mahomes if I want to take him. So I've got to take my elite quarterback here. Really, I need to get, is just part of my overall strategy. And I think what I'll do is I'll look at maybe we can look at 5th round to see what running backs we want to take, given that we went heavy wide receiver in the first 3 picks. But I do love this trifecta. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Rashee Rice. That's a great trifecta. And if I'm able to stack them all with their quarterbacks, all the better. So let's see what this guy does. Michael Pittman, fantastic. Let's go ahead and take Mahomes. I've got the first stack. That's excellent. And now let's go to the 5th round. What running backs could I get in the 5th round? Okay, so it's telling me Rachaad White is a long shot, Joe Mixon, or James Cook. Not super interested in James Cook. I also see, Kenneth Walker probably would not make it to us. He looks to be earlier on the draft board, but I think he's probably a long shot here. If he makes it, see, I've restored Kenneth Walker to the list. He's at the very top. Long shot, but I would take him if he makes it. We'll see if that happens. As far as wide receivers this round, we would be looking at guys like Brian Thomas. Let's see here. Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman. Oh, so we're talking about the rookies, basically. Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is not a rookie, but we can look at him. Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson, Ladd McConkey, rookie. Christian Kirk and Keenan Allen. I'll put Kirk on here, but I'm not really interested in Kirk. I don't believe he's the one on that team. I think it's going to be Brian Thomas. So that's kind of the angle I'm going there. But we can also see who else is ahead. A lot of these guys aren't going to make it. There is also the outside chance Xavier Worthy could make it back to us. That is probably beyond a long shot, looking at where he is typically selected. Yeah, that probably not going to happen. That's a half a round before our pick. So Xavier Worthy probably will not make it back to us. But, you can see here that the quality of the wide receivers declines rapidly here, going down to rookies and such. So this will probably be the round to take a running back. We'll see who makes it back to us. And then, 6th round, we can grab another wide receiver. 7th round, we'll grab another wide receiver, and then we will move on from there. But to have the elite quarterback stacked with an elite wide receiver, I think that's fantastic. Super excited about that. You can see right after my pick, Josh Jacobs went. Again, that was the time to take Josh Jacobs. And I very much like Jacobs this year. I got sniped on him last night on a big high stakes league. He went like a full round before his projected ADP, and where I was planning to take him with my 3rd pick, he was already gone. It was very annoying. I had the 30th overall pick, and I missed him. I don't even know how that happened. But you can see all the elite quarterbacks have gone now. Hurts and Lamar Jackson also off the board. But we are doing just fine here. And James Cook came off. Again, that's the one running back I'm not interested in. Xavier Worthy came off. We expected that. Calvin Ridley's off. That's another guy I like, but I didn't expect him to make it to us either. We've got other players like Odunze, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin. Not really interested in any of those guys. None of them qualify as ones. And, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze are on the same team with DJ Moore, who already got taken earlier. I just don't like that situation. It's so crowded, and there's not a lot of room there for Rome Odunze to really establish a role. Certainly not as the one. That would probably be DJ Moore. Or I've been saying Keenan Allen, but I don't know if it's going to be Keenan Allen. He seems to be fat Keenan Allen. I don't know. Now, Christian Kirk and Jaden Reed are both still on the board with 2 picks to go. Jaden Reed's still there, 1 pick to go. If this guy doesn't take Jaden Reed, I would absolutely take him. And, but of course, I could always pass on him and just get, and Kenneth Walker went. That's really kind of the guy that I wanted. Let's see here. Jaden Reed's right at the top of the list. So is Rachaad White. I got to take one of these guys. I will take my first running back here. I'm going to take Rachaad White as my RB1. And that's not bad. As a 5th round pick, that's pretty solid. So let's look at wide receivers for round 6. Talking the same guys: Thomas, Coleman, Deontay Johnson's a long shot. Christian Kirk's already gone. Ladd McConkey, Godwin. Oh, Cortland Sutton. That's one that I'm interested in. Where's Sutton? Now Sutton could potentially make it to our next pick. Should be a reach here. Yeah, he's a reach. He's got the little hands. He's a reach. So that's definitely a target for next round if he makes it to us. Jaden Reed got taken. I'm not surprised. But I'm really think I'm going to target. Probably Romeo Doubs. That's who I want from Green Bay right now, as he's available a few rounds later and a lot cheaper. But we can take one of the rookies here. So, I've got tons of shares of Ladd McConkey across all my best ball leagues this year. I'm trying to diversify and move away. So Brian Thomas has been like a favorite target of mine this past week. I'm just super excited about what he can do in that offense. And let's see here. Romeo Doubs is at 98. And what running backs are still available? It is back to me. Oh, okay. Now I could take Joe Mixon here. You know what? I think I'm going to do that because I can take Cortland Sutton next round, and then I can probably get Romeo Doubs on the flip. And so that does break the 5 wide receivers in the first 7 rounds. But if I go 7-8 with wide receivers, we're still perfectly fine. So getting both Sutton and Doubs would be absolutely outstanding. I should be able to get both of them pretty easy on the next round. But let's just go to the round 7 picks for running backs. Let's go ahead and we're gonna put some more guys on the queue. So we got guys like Zamir White, Jaylen Warren, who's a guy I've been kind of staying away from because he's been dealing with injuries. We got Aaron Jones, Connor, and Raheem Mostert. Those guys don't rate well, so I'm going to stay away from them. For wide receivers, it's players like Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's a long shot. Sutton is obviously the clear choice. Marquise Brown, I've got no interest in. Jameson Williams, really don't have any interest in him, but he is better as a best ball player than he is as a regular managed league, as you would get in a regular managed league. But I kind of like this build out so far, man. Going with 3 elite wide receiver ones to start, lock in my stack with one of those wide receivers, and then I got Rachaad White and Joe Mixon as my running backs. Both these guys are on decent offenses. Should be very productive. Houston's going to score a ton of points, so I like that a lot. Other players we can look at here, round 7 tight ends would be, Evan Ingram is a long shot to make it to us. Brock Bowers is also right here as a reach. So that's a guy that would potentially be available in the 8th round. Let's see here. And then, obviously we don't need to worry about quarterbacks right now. Aaron Rodgers is probably like a 15th round player. Kirk Cousins, I think, is a 14th or 13th round player. So we will get those guys. We will target them later. But this is a pretty good build so far. I'm pretty happy with it. So let's see what happens. And also, Rashee Rice, obviously there's a risk that he could be suspended sometime midseason. There's absolutely a risk that can happen. But I'm guessing that he's going to be able to push it out so the suspension doesn't happen until next year. So that's one of the reasons why I have been drafting Rashee Rice lately. So it's coming back to us on the 7th now. So really all the rookies are still there. Coleman, McConkey. Just Coleman and McConkey are still there. Brian Thomas went in the 6th round. And let's see here. I think that's the only other rookie. Oh, Rome Odunze came at the beginning of the 6th round. Yeah. But we still have those 2 rookies. But I really like going for Cortland Sutton and Romeo Doubs. I think we got that's a pretty good way to close out our wide receivers here early in the draft. I will grab a few more later. But for right now, I'm just going to go with those 2 guys. I think they're both in a really good situation. Now, look, Evan Ingram came off. We knew he was a long shot. We knew he was a long shot anyway, so I'm not worried about it at all. And that's the whole thing, man. When I'm calling someone out as either when I see him as a reach or a long shot, I'm like, okay, that guy probably won't make it to us, but I'm going to put him on my queue just in case he does, because that can happen. So this is looking good. We got a lot of non-wide receivers being taken right now. This is fantastic. Looks like Keon and Ladd McConkey are cooling a little bit on the draft board right now, and Obviously there is risks associated with rookies. That's why I don't like taking them outside of the flex positions. I like to take them as flex players, but I really don't like to put them in as like my starters. It's just a very risky strategy. So, all right, it's almost back to us. So this looks good. So, Coleman went. McConkey's still there, but I'm going to take Sutton. And again, I think Denver's going to be a little bit better than people think. And so to get the wide receiver one, the clear wide receiver one, I mean, who else is there as a receiver in Denver? There's nobody. There's no names there. Judy's gone, so Courtland Sutherland is the clear number one. So that's an easy mark right there. And then, like I said, going with Dobbs in the 8th, I think is going to give me an outstanding wide receiver core. And the Courtland Sutton also opens up the door that we could grab Bo Nix. Bo Nix is like a last round player. So we got a couple of more wide receivers. McConkey came off after Sutton. And if we look at the board right now, the other wide receivers, we got guys like Hopkins, Addison, Samuel. I don't like any of these guys. Hopkins too old. None of these guys are ones. And so I don't really want those guys, those kind of players. But Romeo Doubs, I believe, is the one in Green Bay, and could be Jordan Love's most reliable target. That's what he's been described as, the most reliable, the one he can count on. And so I'll go with that. And he's a lot cheaper than Jaden Reed, who is going multiple rounds. Look, Reed went in the 5th round. We're gonna grab Dobbs here in the 8th. All right, he didn't go. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and take Dobbs. And great. Okay, so it took me 8 rounds, but I did go and I got myself my 5 wide receivers, so we're good. So we can pivot to other positions. And so if we look to the 9th round, for quarterbacks, this will be the round to grab Caleb Williams. We don't need to grab him. We don't have any of his players, right? Running backs. Let's get these guys on the list. So we've got Devin Singletary. We've got Tyjae Spears as a long shot. Where are you, Tyjae? There you are. We've got Gus Edwards as a reach, so this is a guy that could potentially be available in the next round. I've got tons of shares of Gus Edwards. I've taken so much Gus Edwards. Jerome Ford, who looks good for especially early in the season, with Chubb being placed on, he was placed on PUP or IR or something like that. Blake Corum, there's a guy that could emerge. And again, we're talking about right now our flex running back. That's what we're looking at. So we're in a good position here, given that we already got Rashad White and Joe Mixon. So we got Brian Robinson Jr., who's a risky pick. Tony Pollard, risky. Don't really like either of those guys. Jonathan Brooks, I don't like at all. Again, another guy who is on PUP, who's going to miss at least the first 4 games, probably more. Let's look at the wide receivers for this round. We got players like Adonai Mitchell. Let's see here. Adonai. We got Rashid Shaheed. I got a great deal on him last night, man. I think I got him in like the 14th round or something in that high stakes league I was in. I mean, he is dealing with that turf toe, which is a little bit concerning. Dontavian Wicks is here, and that's a guy who I like for best ball. See the little BB there, little blue box that says BB? That means he's a best ball player. That means I like him in best ball, but I don't like him in regular leagues. And let's also look at the tight ends. It's telling me this will be the round to take David Njoku. And Brock Bowers is still there. We'll see if he makes it to us. I don't think he will. He will probably be gone by the time he gets to us. And so, yeah, so we're all set. So we got a ton of players. I got 10 players in the queue right now. So, again, using the queue, using this tool, it helps prevent that tunnel vision where you just get hyper focused on one player and you just want that one player to make it. And then he doesn't make it and you go into a total spiral. Happened to me last night, because I knew I needed to take Blake Corum in the 9th round. But I really needed a wide receiver, so I took a wide receiver instead. In fact, it was like Romeo Doubs that I took. And I'm like, oh, hopefully he'll make it back. And again, he hung out on the draft board until the pick right before me, and that guy took Corum. And I was beside myself, but I already had my backups, and I took an alternate player. But I'm really disappointed that I did not get Corum, because I think, he really would have solidified my running back core a lot better than it is right now. It's a decent running back core. I got, who did I get? I got Pacheco, and then I got Walker, and then I got Zamir. I got Zamir White. And, oh, good, it's almost back to us. Okay, so look, Caleb Williams got taken early there. See, Joshua Palmer came off, Khalil Shakir. All right. And so you're seeing there's a real pivot away from wide receivers because most of the good wide receivers are gone at this point. So Brock Bowers did go. Again, we knew he was a long shot. Njoku is there. And so I could take my tight end here, and that he'd be a solid tight end 1. But I really would like to get myself another running back, and we've got Singletary, Spears, Edwards, Jerome Ford, and Blake Corum. I'm going to take Edwards here, and then for the 10th round, it is recommending, what do we got here? We got Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards, and Jared Goff if we wanted to go Goff. But we're not going Goff. Instead, we need to look at quarterbacks. Goff, Williams, Purdy, Herbert, Tua, Trevor. I don't need any of those guys. I don't have any of their wide receivers, so we don't need to worry about taking our quarterback 2 yet. For running backs, again, it's still Singletary. Edwards, look, Njoku just went. That's fine. But tight ends, this is the round to take Freiermuth. And I do like Freiermuth very much. I think I'm going to have to take him here because he will not make it back to me on my next pick. I can tell you that right now. So this guy locked in Ferguson and Njoku. That's a great pair of tight ends, man. That's solid. Rock solid. And this guy went 5 wide receivers straight off the bat. So he's doing a similar strategy to me, but I think mine is a little bit better, a little bit more diversified, with a pretty good amount of upside. So I do need to take my tight end here. This is 10th round tight end. That's cool. I can totally do that. So who did he take? He took Chase Brown. Okay, I'm going to take Freiermuth here. Again, it's a contract year for him, and he's going to be in an offense that's going to focus on the tight end. He's basically the number 2 receiver on this team. So a great value here. I think he's way undervalued on the draft board, by the way. I think he's going to be I see him as a top 6 tight end this year. So, all right, so let's move on. Let's go on to round 11. And so for 11, the quarterbacks are Herbert, Cousins, and Tua. Okay, so next round is going to be the round to take Cousins. Whoops. So that should be an easy get on the next round. Look at that. Both Purdy and Lawrence just went. Wow. 2 in a row. Okay, but there's still 2 quarterbacks in front of Kirk Cousins. So I think I'm totally fine. I mean, Kirk Cousins' ADP is at 144. Our next pick is at 130. We should be totally fine here. We should be able to get him, no problem. And again, like I said, when you see that the quarterback you want is within 3 quarterbacks, like there's 3 quarterbacks or less in front of him, that's when you should take him. If there's more than 3, you can typically wait. And so like if Lawrence didn't go and so it was Lawrence to Justin, that still would be a trigger for me to take Cousins on the next pick. But if there was, 4 or more, I'd be like, I don't need to take Kirk Cousins in the 11th. He will make it to the 12th. I can get him there, but I definitely want to take Cousins there. But we can look at the running backs on this round. So running backs, it's got Algier, Chuba. Where is Chuba? There he is. Chuba, Ty Chandler, all these guys are decent choices, man, especially when we're talking about RB4s. Jalen Wright, that's also a very interesting choice. That backfield he plays in, very injury-riddled, gets injured all the time. We also got Eckler and Chubb. Eckler's risky. Chubb's a no-go. I'm staying away from him. And for wide receivers, we're talking guys like, Gabe Davis is a risky pick, but he's a decent choice for he's a decent choice because he's got, it's best ball. Other guys, no-go, Brandon Cooks, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Williams, don't like any of those guys, so I'm not interested in any of them. Tight ends on this round would be a player like Dalton Schultz. Again, if I had C.J. Stroud, I would probably go for Dalton Schultz, but I don't, so I'm not going to worry about that. Looks like Goddard just went. There's Lockett and Jacoby Myers, Brandon Cooks. Had a little bit of a run on the running backs here, so a bunch of these mid-round running backs I was talking about, Singletary, Corum, Spears, those guys are all gone at this point, but that's fine. That's fine. Jerome Ford is still on the board. I doubt he'll make it to me, though. It does not look like he would make it to me at all. But I do need to grab Cousins on the next pick, and then I'll probably grab a running back. given that it's such a short turnaround, both these guys, this guy has 2, this guy has 1. We'll see. Okay, so Tua came up. Okay, so I definitely need to take Cousins. I'm going to definitely need to take Cousins on this pick. So this is cutting it close though, man. Jeez, having a little bit of a run on quarterbacks earlier than they're typically going. So that is interesting. All right. So I'm just going to restore that. You know, the Cuddy is recommending Chuba Hubbard, Kirk Cousins, or Jalen Wright on this round. So, and Jalen Wright is still there. Like I said, if someone like Jalen Wright or Ty Chandler makes it to me on the next pick, I'll definitely take him. And that would be my fourth. That would be my fourth running back. I only take 5. So that really sets me up well. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. 6 running backs in a row right there. Kamara, Stevenson, Swift, Javonte, Singletary, Ford. That's not bad. That's not a bad group of running backs. There goes Gabe Davis. So this is going pretty well here. Got to wait for this guy, though. And it's auto-picking him. All right, great. I'll take Cousins. All right, so now I have stacked 2 of my top 3 wide receivers with their quarterbacks. We will continue to look for when we need to take Aaron Rodgers. I'm betting it's not going to be round 12, though. Oh, it is. It is telling me round 12. Oh, boy. Where is Rodgers on the list? He's within 3. But ADP, it looks like he would make it to our next pick. I mean, obviously, this is a long shot, given that how early the quarterbacks are coming off on this draft. But, you know, that's certainly worth considering. Schultz, is he still on the board? Schultz is still on the board. We've had a little bit of a dry run. And TJ Hawkinson, who I kind of a little bit more out on, but that does have some nice upside should he come back late in the season. There is, you know, he certainly would have a really high ceiling once he comes back. But I really do want to grab my 4th running back here, and so we still have Algier, Hubbard, Chandler, and Wright. Looks like Trey Benson came off. I did mark Trey Benson while we were talking, and I forgot to mention him, but I knew he was a long shot to make it back to us anyway for the 12th round. But which one would I take? Algier, Hubbard, Chandler, or Wright? I mean, if I'm going for upside, Wright would be the best one. Austin Eckler comes off. Chubb and Zeke are still on the board. Ty Chandler would be the highest rated player in this group. And I do like Chandler. I think he's good, and he plays with Aaron Jones, who I don't have any faith in that's going to be able to stay healthy. He's going to have his opportunities. I'll take him. All right, so let's move on to the 13th round. 13th round. Okay, so for quarterbacks, again, it's not even showing Aaron Rodgers. It's not expecting him to make it back. So, you know, if we miss on him, again, we could go Bo Nix. That could just be our go-to, and Bo Nix is super late. But I do have Aaron Rodgers marked, so we'll see if he makes it back. If he does make it back, we can do that. Running backs. All right, let's go running backs. We got guys like Jaleel McLaughlin. We've got Jordan Mason. I do like Jordan Mason. That's another great choice for our 5th running back. Kamani Vidal. Marshawn Lloyd. I'm going to put him on here, even though he's a risky pick. Lloyd's been falling on the draft board. Obviously, he's been dealing with injuries, but with A.J. Dillon being out with a neck injury, probably will be out for the season. You know, he's the only other guy back there. He's dealing with hamstring issues right now, so that's a problem. But for wide receivers, we've got guys like Xavier Legette, who's a risky pick. Michael Wilson. Where are you, Michael Wilson? Is he already gone? He might already be gone. Hold on here. Wilson. Yep, Michael Wilson's already gone. All right, that's too bad. Thielen is here too. Thielen, that might not be a bad choice. What the heck just happened? Thielen as a risky pick. Josh Downs, no go. He's dealing with an injury. Tight ends on this round would be guys like, oh, look at that. We could do, all right, Tyler Conklin. Now, if I get Aaron Rodgers, I could circle around, do Tyler Conklin and get a double stack there. That'd be a good thing to do. Cade Otton is also here. That's I like him, especially for best ball. I think he's got a real high ceiling, and hopefully he puts it together in year 3. I think he just has so much potential, and he just has been underwhelming the first 2 seasons. But sometimes, for the most part, historically, it's taken till year 3 for tight ends to really come out and really break out. We've just been spoiled because there's been so many that have come out recently that have been immediate hits. You know, guys like Sam Laporta, and tight ends like Trey McBride. You know, those guys, again, just fantastic. They just came out and they were immediately fantastic. And we might be getting a little spoiled. You know, I think, like I said, that could be a decent choice. So we can see some of my guys are coming off here. Wright came off. Tyler Algier came off. That's fine. Chuba Hubbard is still on the board, but 6 picks to me, it's not going to be. He's not going to make it to me. I can tell you that right now. Aaron Rodgers is still there. He is still on the board. And there's still one quarterback in front of him, Matthew Stafford. So this is actually looking pretty good. I might have gambled right here. And I have no wide receivers on my queue right now, but I have a lot of running backs. And I do need to take my 5th. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to take my 5th. We got lots of options. We got Julian McLaughlin, Jordan Mason, Kamani Vidal, Marshawn Lloyd. McLaughlin comes off. I would be cool with going with Lloyd or Mason. I kind of like Mason a lot. I think there could be some opportunity for him this year. But let's see what happens. Chuba is still here. God, do I really want to push it? No, because right now Rodgers is the next quarterback on the board. I'll take Rodgers here. So that gets me my stack with Wilson. And then if I can get Conklin here, I'll take Conklin. And that'll be my tight end 2. A double stack for Rodgers. That works. So 14, we already kind of know where we're going, but I'm going to just mark some players anyway. Wide receivers. Oh, Jermaine Burton. That's a guy I want to get. Jermaine Burton. Let me just look here for... Now, we're all done with quarterbacks. We don't need any more quarterbacks, so I don't need to worry about them anymore. Mason, Kamani Vidal, Marshawn Lloyd. All right, and for wide receivers, Jermaine Burton, Thielen. Okay, and then the rest of these guys I'm not really interested in. Chuba finally comes off. That's a great, man. Chuba in the 14th. That's solid, man. He's going to be good for the first month. Ray Davis comes off. Okay, so look at this. So Mason, Kamani Vidal, Marshawn Lloyd, all still there. None of these guys will make it back to me. Conklin would not make it back to me. I think I've got to take the stack. I got to take the stack with Rodgers. So I'll take that. And let's just move on. Round 15, we'll look at running backs. So running back Estime. Antonio Gibson. I don't really like Antonio Gibson, even though he's a risky player. Okay, wide receivers. And we haven't taken any wide receivers since round 8. We've just been focusing on all these other positions, but that's partially by design. So there are some guys that I really do like late. And so De'Ami Brown is one of them. Malachi Corley, that's another guy I like. And again, that would be another stack with the Jets. It's probably too many Jets, I'm thinking. Demarcus Robinson is a good choice here. Where are you, Demarcus Robinson? There he is. We got some other guys, not really interested in those guys. Let's look at tight ends. Okay, so we got tight ends. Juwan Johnson is a guy. I've been moving towards him as well. He's not on the injury list anymore. Isaiah Likely could be a good choice also. I do like to take 3 tight ends, so I'm going to be looking for one more. Maybe not these guys, but they're not bad choices. But that's what we're looking at, and I don't need to worry about the quarterbacks anymore. And I'm just going to go to 16, and we're going to look at that for running backs. We've got guys like Carson Steele. Right. Okay, I don't really like any of those guys. Bigsby, I'm just not impressed. He doesn't appear to be the solution there. It's mostly all the same guys, but because these two picks are so close together, it's all mostly the same guys that it's recommending. That's what happens when you get near the horn, And actually, if you're picking from either the first or second, or the 11th and 12th position in a 12-team league, they're just combined. It's just a single round for both picks, so you don't have to, switch each individual round. It's every other pick. So, all right, Otten came off. That's too bad. But again, I expected that. Yeah, last round was the round to take Otten. That's what the app was telling me. So this is fine. We're just moving along. Vidal and Lloyd are still on the board. Jordan Mason did come off. That's too bad. But like I said, this is a good situation. I like my running back core. It's decent. That's what I want. I just want a decent running back core that's going to perform. And I'm going to take my wins where I can get them, like my quarterbacks and my stacks. I'm really going for that. But I think I got a solid pair of tight ends, solid group of quarterbacks. So we only have 4 picks to go, and we don't have to pick defenses or kickers in these best ball leagues. So that's also pretty nice. All right, 5 picks to us. We are just cruising along here. I do have 4 running backs, and I've got my 5 wide receivers. Again, have not taken any wide receivers. So I think this would be a good round to probably go running back, wide receiver. I think that's what I want to do. It's getting very close to us, 3 picks away. Vidal and Lloyd are still on the board. Looks like Lloyd has been falling. He has been plunging on the board, but the fact that they did not put him on injured reserve or on PUP speaks well that perhaps that hamstring isn't as bad as we initially thought. So if he makes it to me, I will definitely take him. Pearsall comes off. Again, Pearsall, I don't have any interest in now that, now that the whole situation with what's his face. Why am I drawing a blank on it? Ayuk has all been taken care of. Okay, so it's me. Oh, good. All right. So Marshawn Lloyd did make it. So let's go ahead and take Marshawn Lloyd. That's a nice value pick. I think he's going to be valuable later in the year. So that's great. Happy to get that. And then as far as wide receivers, Jermaine Burton, if he makes it to me, I think I'm going to take him here because T. Higgins just can't stay healthy, right? And this guy has shown some stuff in the preseason. He looks really, really good. And also we've got a situation where Jamar Chase has been out, has not been practicing. So hopefully he does not get taken because I would love to have Burton on my team right now. So, all right, this is looking okay. 2 picks to us. Let's see what happens. And this would only be my my 6th wide receiver. Kamani comes off. Okay, that's fine. All right. Oh, come on, man. He's going to take Burton. Look, Burton's right there, 3rd on the list. Damn, come on. Do not take him. Take a quarterback. You need another quarterback. It's going to auto pick. That might work to my advantage. Who'd he take? Wandale. Awesome. Okay. Burton. Wow. Fantastic. I cannot believe that he fell to me there. That is absolutely outstanding. All right. I like this team, man. This is a great team. Okay. So let's see here. For round 17, again, it really thins out. I do not need to take any more running backs, but I'm still going to just see who's there. Hill, Pierce, Shipley, Akers, none of these guys I'm interested in. But for wide receivers, we could take Roman Wilson. Where is Roman Wilson? We could take Tyler Boyd. He's a risky pick here. Luke McCaffrey, again, Washington's kind of wide open. In fact, I've already got Jimmie Brown marked, and if he makes it to me, I'll take him. It's very close. He's very much a long shot, but he could make it to us. So he's pretty far down the draft board. Well, I guess not anymore. Jeez. Okay. Let's look at the tight ends also, because I do need to take at least one more tight end. Colby Parkinson. Okay. And since 18 is going to happen right after that, let's just look at 18. Chigakonkwo, again, that's a great choice for a third tight end. Tucker Kraft, Dulcich, Gesicki, Ertz. Yeah, not really. I don't really want any of those guys. What other wide receivers could we be looking at here? Darius Slayton. I mean, he is a recommend here, but I'm just not. I would not be excited to take Darius Slayton for sure. Chark, Patrick Naylor. I don't like any of those guys. Running backs. Running backs, we got Madison. It's kind of interesting how invisible Alexander Madison has been. And Samaje Perine. Oh, and that would be a stack. Perine would be a stack. Where is Perine? There he is. I don't know if he'll make it back to us. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. But overall, this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how this team is built out. So I've got my top 3 wide receivers stacked with their quarterback. So that's great positive correlation. And really all these guys should be decent offenses this year. Kansas City, of course. Atlanta, yes. And the Jets, these should all be decent offenses. New York Jets is getting some toxic fumes about the what's going on in their toxic work environment because of Mr. Aaron Rodgers. But still, if they can put it together, they should be protected. And certainly way better than last year when they were just abysmal. My running backs, pretty good core, man. White, Mixon, Edwards, and then Chandler and Marshawn Lloyd are kind of the backup guys. Again, I only need to start 2 each week. The way this build is built out is I'm focusing on having my wide receivers fill all, there's 3 wide receiver slots plus a flex. So playing 4 wide receivers each week. I think I can definitely do that with this sort of build out. And then we got Freiermuth and Conklin as our tight ends. And right now, all the tight ends that I want are gone except for Chig. So I think that would be my pick. And I think he would be solid as my tight end 3. And then I will grab. And where does he go? Typically to 11. But I want to take the chance that I could. No, I definitely got to take the tight end here if I want to take him. Theo Johnson's also right here. But I think I'll take Chig. And then Jimmie Brown, Tyler Boyd, and Darius Slayton are all still on the board. I'll take one of them. Jimmie would be my top choice if he makes it back to me. And he should, but it's close. So we'll see what these guys do with their last 2 picks. But overall, this is a really nice team. This is a good team to take into this tournament. So I think they're going to do pretty good. So I'm excited about this. This is cool. And so, again, for those of you that are smart, that have waited to do your drafts until after the 3rd week of preseason, this is the time to get the app. Get the 16 rounds app, and it's going to help you find the right players at each and every round of your draft. Again, it's a great guide. You can see I've been using it the whole draft here, and it's very good about knowing when I need to target players, when they're going to be long shots. Will they make it back to me? Maybe, maybe not, but you're always taking a chance with the long shots. Basically, it just means that there's less than a 50-50 chance they'll make it to you. So, if you really like that player, take them before they're marked as a long shot, But a couple of players fell to us, which was nice, Okay, great. So Jimmie made it. I am going to take him, and excellent. All right, man, this is great. So I do like this team a lot. This is a very, very solid team to bring into this tournament. And hopefully things break my way. If Diami Brown becomes like the number 2 receiver on Washington, that's going to be fantastic. If Jermaine Burton becomes the number 2 receiver on that team, that's going to be outstanding. So I've got some nice upside plays, mostly players on decent offenses with upside. So we'll see what happens. And I it took me 8 rounds, but I did get 5 wide receivers in the first 8 rounds. I went ahead and I stacked all my quarterbacks with their players. And in fact, I got a double stack with Aaron Rodgers. So I've stacked 4 players with my quarterbacks. That's right in the range that I want it to be. I always take 3 quarterbacks just for me, because every time I've only taken 2, it invariably happens that my 2 quarterbacks are both out on the same week. So this gives me the additional ability that should not be an issue. And I always take the 3 tight ends just because it's such a low volume position, but they do have spike weeks, and we'll see what happens. But that looks like a pretty good trifecta there. So overall very good. This team went very well. So very happy with it. And look at that. Audric Estime, Carson Steele, and Alexander Madison, they didn't even get drafted. Didn't even get drafted in here. But anyway, hey, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Have yourself a great day. Good luck drafting. I'll talk to you soon.